さあ本日は LJL2020 サマースプリットウィーク6の模様をお送りしております。
Alright, returning back once again. This time for Game 4 of the LJL Week 6 Summer Split. With our last game being Hawks Gaming versus V3 Esports. V3 were able to pull out the win, so congratulations to them as they continue a very dominant performance over the Summer Split so far. And at this point in the split, it's fairly expected from the side of V3 Esports that they will be showing this level of dominant performance and that they will be showing this level of consistent success. Dropping only one game to CGA is still a fantastic record. We do talk about how V3, you lost the perfect, not going flawless on the summer split, but if you're only dropping one game to the second place team, that is not a bad position to be in, and it will only add to making their best of fives better if they are both still set to match up against each other by the time playoffs roll around. And speaking of expected projections, I don't think any of us could have predicted this outcome and current standing of Detonation Focus Me. It has been a bit of a state for DFM. Not to circle back to points I've made already, but there has just been what I want to say almost feels like communication errors for the for DFM of just there's been a long kind of state of disconnected engages, some lack of overall team coherency that's just not quite been all there. And at the end of it all, I really do hope that DFM are finding ways to bounce back, but after a loss to Hawks Gaming yesterday, their playoff spot is starting to fall into contention, and this is not a position that I thought we would be talking about. But with them about to run up against Burning Core, that's really going to be a point at which we'll all let that sink in for a moment. Detonation Focus Me is battling for their playoff spots and looking to take what would be 4th place away from Burning Core of all teams. This is, and the reason that's so impactful is because Detonation Focus Me's prior record. They have a myriad of trophies and accomplishments throughout the past few years. They are the household LJL name that everyone knows. They are the international winners. They're the only LJL team to show up at international events and to have also found a win. But as it stands right now, they're currently battling for their own playoff position in their home region, while Burning Core has come back into these 2 weeks, or hopefully into this week as well. They got a 2-0 yesterday and looked solid doing it. The off weeks have been good to them, and we're hoping that they'll be able to follow that through with hopefully trying to find a win against DFM. And pre-draft predictions, I'm honestly going to hand it to Burning Core here. They came out strong. They looked very solid against both Rascal Jester and Axis yesterday. I would personally love to see Burning Core be able to pull this one out. And if for no other reason, then I really want to see the DFM we know and love. The sort of struggles in the life and times of DFM's team and overall coherency. I'm still dropping so many frames, bro. Apologies. I'm just gonna stop talking about it for the rest of the time. These VODs are gonna be chalked, and I do apologize, but we will make it work in the end of it all. So, getting back to the topic at hand with talking about the teams, I think Burning Core has just showed an overall just outstanding return from the off weeks, and we'll see what Burning Core are continuing to bring to the table. They did have their loss against Sengoku, which was a little bit of an not an uncharacteristic loss. We would sort of expect that kind of thing from Sengoku, but we'll see what Burning Core are able to do. And right now it feels like they're targeting Saros very hard with the Ziggs and the Heimerdinger ban being thrown up right away. DFM gonna ban away Kha'Zix from once and then take Bard off the table. Shortly thereafter, Ezreal, the last ban to round out Burning Core's side of things. Will Burning Core be given over the Ashe and Aphelios, or a DFM possibly thinking about trying to move Burning Core in a specific direction? This last ban will be telling of just that. It will be the set taken off the table, so Burning Core has their choice between Ashe and Aphelios, as well as a few other picks that you don't need to be B1ing your AD carry, but it just has been the way of the LJL recently, and it looks like that will be their decision to do. Gonna be dropping in on the Ashe pickup there. DFM with their response. Kalista, Aphelios still on the table. And ultimately, while I wouldn't mind a Kalista for DFM, Kalista historically in the LJL has not been able to find a ton of value, even in comps where they are early focused. Sengoku playing 2 of those to success, or 3 of them total, but none of them were involved with a Kalista. They were typically opting for either a more meta AD carry or even things like a Jhin to offer support for the rest of their comp. But DFM gonna be locking in the Kalista, and the Volibear to follow it up are still retaining a decent amount of flex opportunity with both of those picks. Seldom seen in the LJL, but Kalista top is still a realistic option. While Burning Core are going to lock themselves in Graves and Galio to follow alongside their Ashe here, and it's a little bit interesting. Yeah, I was going to say exactly that. They're passing over the Karma to Saros if he wants it, but it's not exactly a pick that DFM wants, so Karma doesn't exactly bring a whole lot of damage to the mid lane if it ends up being a mid lane pick. It also means that this Volibear is guaranteed to be in the jungle if it ends up on the top side of things. And lastly, if the Karma ends up going to the support, you don't exactly want to be chucking in a Karma if you are Kalista popping ultimate there, but DFM with a couple bans to still be decided on. They can kind of pinch away at that top lane as they will do just that. Ray Farkey's Dairy is going to be taken away from him. You need 1 or 2 bans to really protect the Karma in the top side, as she is somewhat susceptible to a couple of the meta picks. While Burning Core can kind of attack the mid lane position if they really want to, but there as well, taking a few support champions off the table is not a bad idea either. Thresh and Nautilus would actually be very safe bans for Burning Core, although they have not picked their support either, so DFM will have to kind of play carefully about what's banned away from them, and Burning Core can't take every option off the table unless they want to be left digging deep in their support pools. Still a couple of choices left to be made. Camille taken off the table, and that is going to be the Nautilus, followed up by Burning Core. So DFM, they have kind of a choice here. They can lock in their mid laner now and hold support, or the top laner as well, but looks like that will be the call. Renekton going to be picked up by DFM, and it looks like it's going to be a sin to win style for DFM here. While Burning Core have a couple of options still available. They can pivot this Galio to the support position if they want to draft things like an Azir to hopefully kind of add a little bit of defense to their comp. Wouldn't be too surprised to see something like that, but Alistar going to be returning once again. Another great defensive pick. Pairs well with Ashe, who can slow decently so that Alistar can get in engage range. And that will leave Burning Core one final pick. What will it be as a response into the Renekton? There's a couple of options still available, but Gangplank, I like the Gangplank lock-in here for Burning Core. It does present some weaknesses in the top lane early on, as you will be have to kind of weathering this Renekton storm. That being said, the amount of zone control and manipulation of who is going to be walking in on you from the side of Burning Core it looks really solid. You have Graves Smokescreen to fall back on. You can use Alistar to headbutt and pulverize anyone who's walking in on you to try and deny them going forward. But DFM bringing back a little bit of an old school pick with the Taric Kalista bot lane. I love the Taric Kalista pickup here, as now it makes it that much harder for you to zone away members, but then once you do, they have an ultimate to rely on that they can kind of deal with a couple slows, they can deal with a taunt, and still be full HP to try and get in and get something started. So the worry for me is a lot of DFM's champions have a severe amount of decay. If they're not on the map early in this one, Burning Core will really start to run away with this towards the later ends of the game. I'm hoping that for the rest of this game, and hopefully for DFM's chances at playoffs, they're going to be able to get out on the map early and get their ball rolling, while on the other end of things, Burning Core have pretty much all the time in the world to let this one go. Realistically, the only real thing I do worry about when you're looking at DFM's comp is they have some skirmishing tools, but without Karma being in the pair or Kalista being there, they don't have a reliable form of engage. You can use Karma Speed Boost or Kalista Ultimate to kind of gap close and start something off, but once it starts, it's in your favor. The issue sort of becomes where Burning Core don't need to really engage on you until Ashe can just throw out an arrow, and even if you are finding catches, you have to make sure that Geo is not going to be in ult range to start kind of tipping the numbers advantage back in their favor. All of that being said, post-draft predictions, I'm going to have to hand this one over to Burning Core. I think they've played very solidly yesterday. I think they've proven themselves to just be a very experienced, or to be a very well-rounded team coming out of this break. And I think they, with a comp like this where you can just play defensively, they have opportunity on the table. Now, the one thing I will say for the side of Burning Core is that they can get hung up on what kind of netted them a couple losses early on in the split, where a little bit sometimes over eager on some objectives have kind of been not serving them the best, at least in compositions where they could have been letting them pass over. When they have an early game comp, it works fairly well for them, and you can see that by the kills and assists by 15 holding the lead in there. So when Burning Core are on the map early and they can be the first to the punch, they play it fairly well. The question is really, are you able to play the inverse of that scenario to equal efficiency? And that will remain to be seen as they're going to be matching up against DFM here. While we're waiting for this match to get started up, I do just want to talk briefly on Detonation Focus Me and kind of how their performance from yesterday did not instill the most amount of confidence coming into today. They did have a hard matchup against V3 Esports, which is an understandable loss at this point. on paper, if you're looking back in your history books to Spring Split and to Summer Split when they beat them in a best of 5 fairly convincingly, DFM should have been the favorites, but judging by the Spring Split or the Summer Split performance, a little bit less so, and V3 has just been dominating most of the meta there. So, you know, understandable loss that you weren't able to fall there, but then falling to Hawks Gaming, who you can attribute that partially to Hawks Gaming taking a couple names. They have one on DFM and one on Sengoku now. It's not a bad look for them.
LJL 2020サマースプリットウィーク6ゲーム4デトネーションフォーカスミー vs バーニングコアスタートです。
Alright, and as we get things started up here, I always like to take that initial look across the runes of everyone here, and Saros possibly heard my cast while he was waiting for his match to start up. He is opting for the summon Airy on Karma there. Adds a little bit of extra potency to the shield, also helps out in skirmishes when you're just sending a shield onto other members that you expect to be doing most of the engaging. I'm a little bit surprised from the side of DFM that they didn't opt into, or that they decided that they were going to set Callista to be the solo carry. Of all champions, still choosing Callista, but it wouldn't be the first time that DFM has kind of had some interesting choices of who they set up as a solo damage carry. Most notably, one of the games that stands out is they had their, I forget if it, I believe it was against V3 Esports, where they had a Senna and a Xerath as their only two carries, but the Senna ended up going for a tankier build, went for the Frozen Mallet and Glacial, or Grasp of the Undying, and it did not net them a win, believe it or not, but Evi's finding a little bit of a win here on the top side of things, trying to take a couple extra trades. Doing a great job of zoning Ray away from the wave, but we'll see how things go for DFM here. See, AI slightly favoring DFM, but still a decent amount of options still available. Gonna find a stun there, which will burn a cleanse out very early on from Yuhi. Kind of a random stun to get hit by if you are Yuhi. I don't know why he just did not respect that Gang had that option on the table. Possibly thought he could have outran it, but an early cleanse burn is a great position to be in. Just kind of a random opportunity presents itself, but hey, if Gang's able to find it, they might be able to convert that into something a little bit later on, while meanwhile in the mid lane, Yu-Gi-Oh as well not going to have nearly as fun of a time. All of the lanes of Burning Core are not exactly going to be very fun, especially as Yuhi 3 minutes in is already zeroing out his mana just to stay in the lane, and one summoner down. Once is really going to kind of need to hold his own in the jungle, because as it stands right now, DFM are going to hold all of the pressure and priority across these lanes, as Yuji is going to be able to get out of that one. Tether attached, but nothing he can't get away from too easily. Steel is here in the mid lane. He's going to show himself for just a moment. Meanwhile, Ray's going to be able to shove that lane in. Won't go quite under turret, but that is a large minion wave, and you see him putting down the ward. He knows that Steel is thinking about ganking him. He should know better than to push up to that wave, but it will remain to be seen, as I believe once got spotted out here as well. Will be forced to take a back there. That will only encourage Steel wandering up into the top side here. Ray's wandered just a little bit too far from home. Has oranges, so we'll be able to get out of that one. Burns his flash for it. in what really should have been Ray just taking a back there. Eva, the LJL doesn't even freeze that often, but in that scenario, you don't have much of a choice. You know that Steel is on the top side. Ray just kind of didn't respect that one. But Saros is going to be the target of a dive here, forced to flash away as Once with pretty good positioning there in between the turrets, did not tank any turret shots. Proud's going to get a little bit of a combo there onto Gang. No real damage to follow that one up, but Aftershock's going to keep him from taking too much damage in return. As Yuchio's trying to do everything he can to just shove this lane and get a back off. Meanwhile, the Bear is rotating around on the bottom side of things. Proud has stun available. Beautiful flash from Yuhi. Recognizes that Gang's looking and goes flash for flash with him. That was a split-second flash from the side of DFM. Or excuse me, from the side of Burning Core. But just overall good recognition on the situation from Yuhi. So I like to see that coming out from him. And you're going to need to keep your wits about you for a little while longer while waiting through the early game of DFM here. If they can just survive, this game looks only better and better as time goes on, with that scoreboard still saying 0-0. Once has not actually backed yet, and is likely a sign that DFM, or excuse me, that Burning Core are not looking to contest this Drake from DFM, and understandably so. Fighting for one little Ocean Drake, while it would be nice to support your lanes, is just so not worth the potential risk. So One's just doing everything he can to get as much farm on the map before he's forced to eventually back, and that Drake will just be going over to the side of DFM. Question comes to this Rift Herald if Burning Core will be contesting on that one, and they shouldn't, but it's not unlike Burning Core to kind of push for objectives that they really should be a little bit more wary about going for. But Eugio's looming around here. Evi might find Once, and if he takes an engage, Once is in a great position. A couple pings coming out, but that's a lot of information from the side of Burning Core, as they're going to own up onto the top side here. The potential downside, though, is Burning Core. Once DFM hits their level 6, there is a dive threat onto this bottom side if they aren't careful. As Once is going to be stealing away the top side camps, and a lot of deep vision to keep tabs on where Steel is. It's going to be the name of the game here. Ray's going to pop oranges. Does not actually have it, I believe. But also probably knew that Evi had no real kill pressure on him just there. But Steel wandering up here, he's going to spot the pink ward. I don't think he'll spot Once over the wall. He will, as Once is going to be right in his face. He's level 6, trying to duke it out. He knows that Eugio is waiting in the wings, so Steel can't really contest this one just yet. Gang is rotating over and has exhaust ready, but Once is going to get the smite on the red buff, dash over the wall, he should be out to safety. That's just going to be a steal in the face of Once. The style that Burning Core often loves to employ from Once in the jungle says, I don't really care if you guys are the early game team, I'll be in your face all the same. Not afraid of any Volibears. But DFM will be onto the Rift Herald here. And while having Gang here is nice if Burning Core go for a fight, oh, Burning Core need to be careful. Callista is missing, and Gang has been missing this whole time, so they know he's here. Once is going to be the one aggressive on here. The hero's entrance is going to buy a lot of space, and a two-man taunt. Will they be able to knock down Gang here for first blood? They will. The Gangplank combo is good, as Evi's looking for a slice and dice over the wall, but I don't think he got the second one. Eugio flashed away, I think from Yuhi's arrow. I think he thought it was the opposing team's arrow, but he ends up flashing regardless. As now Udapont is here, they will be able to secure that Drake, but Burning Core can kind of just take the first blood as a consolation prize. Proud's going to go forward here, as Steel's going to go onto Eugio, not going to be able to knock him down. Needed a little bit of more time to do damage, as Burning Core find 2 around that objective fight. I'm gonna question Ping Eugio a little bit. I do think he actually flashed away from the Ash arrow, but that sort of that a high pressure situation where the last thing you want is to be eating a stun. We'll watch this all again one more time. And this was once being a little bit uncautious, but he knows he has Yu-Gi-Oh close by, and the hero's entrance just buys so much time where Gang was able to do nothing. And because they rotated Gang so early, he was not level 6, but watch this arrow as Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, he just flies. Oh, that's one of those ones where you just kind of gotta laugh it off if you are Yu-Gi-Oh. He does have he does have the unsealed spellbook, so whoa, well done. We're right back to fighting as Yuhi's gonna go down to Saros. The tether's gonna be blowing him up as one's gonna be trying to kite away from that one while as Alistar falls. What has happened? You didn't give me any time. As Saros and Evi gonna be picking up a kill apiece from a little bit of scrapping in the bot lane. I think Evi teleported down there, while Steel will just be able to pick up that CS in the top side. Blindsided a little bit by that play, but 2 for 2 will even up the score and gold for the side of Burning Core. Okay, let's get a replay of what happened here. Yeah, they go all in onto Yuhi, who's showing up alone for a little while. This is a combo of Kalista Taric, where that's just so much time spent invincible. The re-engage starts to come out here from the side of Burning Core, but no Crystal Arrow. And once the teleport comes in, they're forced to run away. I understand how Proud died here, but they didn't see. No vision on Saros. He actually was playing right out of the vision on his way in, and where Ash thought he was safe to be throwing out one more volley, ends up beating a Mantra Q and going down for it, but still not a terrible position to be in if you are Burning Core. You're only about 200 gold behind, so nothing that you need to be too terribly worried about. This Infernal Drake, though, Burning Core taking fairly aggressive posturing around this Drake. I'm a little bit worried for them, but they do know that DFM are still waiting on ulti cooldown, so I like pushing for this Drake. It punishes the CDs very well. They know that Steel is on the top side now. I don't know if they knew he was there from the beginning, but now it's going to look like they're trading for a dive onto Ray Fargi here. Here comes the ultimate, so the turret's going to go down. Has Oranges still, flashes away, trying to kite this one out. The ultimate's going to slow them away, so he should be able to run away. The barrel move speed's going to help him out there as well. Will they be able to catch up to him? And Ash Arrow's going to fly in. Saros is just going to eat that one, spend a little bit of time stunned up, but in no real danger, as he's just going to teleport back to the mid lane to catch that wave. Meanwhile, Burning Core trying to find their way back up to this turret. Proud's going to help Ray get up there for that last little bit of CS. As the Rift Herald spawned up here, Ray has a little bit of range damage advantage, so he can, while zoning DFM away, also stop this Rift Herald from taking the turret outright. But that's a decent amount of gold over to Evi and Steel, and giving that gold to Evi is really going to help when it comes to the points where Ray and Evi are split pushing, but right now, they're looking to steal some of that gold back, as Evi's gonna slice and dice away from that one. We're gonna face check right back over. Once he's gonna go for a little bit of damage onto him. Once he uses a slice and dice away, he kind of knows he can chase him down for a little bit of extra damage, but while we are kind of cresting into this 15-minute mark, DFM lead acquired off of that Rift Herald play and the extra kills that they were able to pick up. But Burning Core picking up that extra Drake bodes well for them in terms of getting towards this Soul objective, which Mountain Soul would do well for both teams, but definitely Burning Core are the ones who could use a little bit of extra tanky stats when dealing with the likes of DFM's comp, as for right now, we won't have the most amount of action. Likely we'll just be enjoying a lull state for a little while longer. Rift Herald fight already burned DFM once. Will it be their undoing again? So you can see a couple members of Burning Core rotating down there already to try and trade some of that damage back. Is Evi gonna go for the all-in here? he goes for a little bit of an extended trade. Yu-Gi-Oh might be the one run down here. He has flash, so he's not too terribly worried, and knowing that Yudapon's just going to opt to back away. Does need to reset soon if he wants to be over there for that Rift Herald objective, and they will have Gang and Yudapon both with ultis available, so your team fight tools are up and ready. DFM, full ultis will be on deck as Seros' mantra is coming back up. Ray will fortunately have teleport advantage, but you can see him, he's just going to run up there right away. Don't want to force out, don't want to have to use a teleport if you don't need it. And Evi on the bottom side of things is a little bit risky because Burning Core are going to be the ones starting this up. It's going to spot out that ward in the pit. Proud waits in the wings. Vision control, stiffly in the favor of Burning Core here. DFM are trying to find their way forward. Yu-Gi-Oh's going to be the one who gets stunned up to start things off, but a beautiful Pulverize finds two members. The Panic Fates call just a save, gang, as Seros is going to fall for that one. Can't pull two members with that Kalista ultimate, but a beautiful find there from Proud. That's going to be a nice fight. That's going to be a nice pick to make sure that that Rift Herald goes uncontested. They're going to use that to crack open this mid lane turret. And that should be first turret. DFM are in no position to capitalize off of that top lane turret where that has most of the turret plates missing. Burning Core 5 men strong, going to be opening up first turret in this game. 16 minutes in, and once again, the gold lead is back to dead even. Neither team finding neither team finding a real fight advantage win. Burning Core and DFM both kind of struggling to pull at the seams a little bit, but every time it feels like they're being matched beat for beat. And Burning Core, with the most recent turret take, is going to even that back up for themselves. But when you're talking about what this game looks like 15 minutes from now, Burning Core, like we mentioned, are in a little bit better of a position. And the thing that we've criticized DFM for in the past, and we talked about yesterday, is a lack of proactivity in the mid to late game. A lot of their plays usually end up as solo plays. They're not actually, they have a little bit of struggle all-inning for 5v5 plays. You can see Evi still alone on the top side, and while they're waiting for him, DFM are looking for something now, but just not quite going to be able to find anything. They don't have a whole lot of long-range engage tools. Proud's going to wander a little bit too far forward. Pulverize and the ultimate will keep him tanky and stun and up for now. But that's going to be Steel Invincible right in his face. Yu-Gi-Oh's going to go gold, and that'll just buy a disengage from the side of DFM. And ones have deterred the engage for now, but that's an ultimate from Gang. That's a huge team fight tool down. Flashing forward, they're going to try to find the fight now, as Evi's going to go very low. The auto from the ones is going to be enough to knock him down, followed immediately by Gang's death, as Proud's looking for more, trying to see if he can get on top of them, but not quite able to get close enough. And that's the danger of aggressing on Burning Core's comp. If you are not going to knock them down, it is way too hard to try and disengage between barrel slows, ash volleys, and smoke screens. Burning Core find a way to turn around that aggressive pattern. While gold lead isn't stiffly in their favor, they will be able to turn this into the first Mountain Drake of this game.
ちょっとリプレイを見ながら見たいんですけど、考えたいんですが、裏でもちょうどリールさんと一緒に考えてなんで勝てないんだろうねみたいな話を。
And while we're looking at how this all broke out, you can just see the kind of struggles of DFM. They popped the Taric ultimate so early, and then at that point, Burning Core know that they can just back away and wait out the ultimate. Yu-Gi-Oh was never in an abundant amount of danger. And I don't mind the look from Evi here. It looks good, you get the stun, and you try to shred as much as you can, but keep in mind, Gang was the reason you're allowed to be that aggressive, and once his ultimate is down, you cannot be posturing in the same way. As the fight win goes over to the side of Burning Core, one little skirmish there, and that's another 2 kills over to their side, and I will say, I do like that Once is going for the lethality version instead of going for the Black Cleaver. it's adds a bit of potency to if he finds himself alone with Saros like he did in that last fight, but ultimately puts pressure on members like Evine and Steel to be buying armor items, as once is going to look for an opportunity onto Saros there, luckily gets spotted out by Steel in the jungle, but when you just look across the levels in this game, the standout is of course once 2 levels onto Steel, just getting so much of the better end of a lot of this pathing, as Saros still with no real safe place to go, has plenty of damage for exactly what we just mentioned. Time alone with Saros is just a happy hour for Graves, as he's going to be able to give that kill over to his mid laner. Here comes the Fate's Call, or the the Fate's Call from Callista. Ray Farkey going to be going down there. No amount of oranges will save you from that one, but an Ash Arrow might buy you some time as another 3-man Pulverize into taunt. You may be invincible, but so much time spent CC'd, as Yu-Gi-Oh will be falling to Steel off on the side lane, and Alistar will be going down there. You can't fight into that Taric ultimate. They spent so much time CC'd, but the amount of tools you expend into invincible targets ends up netting DFM a 2 kills pretty much for free, and likely will be netting them Baron as well as the teleport comes in. Once is still 2 levels onto Steel, so an opportunity to steal is realistic, as Ray's gonna have opportunity to try and poke and prod his way in with those barrels. Using combos just to throw damage onto these members is exactly what you need to do, but Evi is doing such a great job of zoning, just waiting in the camouflage of that bush there. It's going to make the call to all in onto him. Flashes away. They peeled him off the Baron, so ultimately, this is exactly what they needed to do. They don't even need to really take a re-engage. As DFM make the call to turn off the Baron, they don't quite find the value they're looking for. And that will mean that the Baron is safe for now. Not going to go over to the side of DFM. Paying Once's flash for a deterrent on the Baron is a fair trade if you are Burning Core, as the last thing you want to have to be doing is fighting past Baron empowered minions as well. While Ray and Once are looking to see if they can grab a top lane turret after DFM are forced to back away there. But we'll watch this one more time as DFM, they say, you want to kill our mid laner on one end of the map, we'll take your top laner on the other one. And I think Ray flashed and then used oranges. I think he thought he was buffering out the flash or the stun from the Taric. But this was sort of just an interesting call from Burning Core. They kind of thought Yuhi was in a good position, so they thought that they were able to play the fight out even past the Taric ultimate. But Yu-Gi-Oh and Galio and Alistar just kind of suffer from not the best disengage tools in terms of once you're in, you're in. There's not a whole lot of running back away, and they kind of get caught out for it. But still, only about a 500 gold advantage, still in the favor of DFM. It's not a bad position to be finding yourselves if you are Burning Core, but DFM has still been struggling to really find an advantage that they can start being aggressive with. For now, still retaining a bit of strength over the lines of Burning Core. How long will that last? As Udapon's going to be making a play here. That's going to be Gangplank going down. The heroic entrance is not going to be able to save him. Gang's ultimate's going to be coming in, and that will mean Burning Core have to disengage for now. As Once is going to look for the re-engage post that. A beautiful taunt from Yu-Gi-Oh is going to be 1 down. Evi doesn't do enough damage to knock down the jungler on the other end of things. Proud with a little bit of an insect onto Callista means that they're going to find 2 for that, as Yu-Gi-Oh's threatening the look for more. But the re-engage from Burning Core around this Taric ultimate is beautifully executed, as Yu-Gi-Oh flashes forward the Nimbus Cloak, just allowing him to find exactly the members he's looking for. And Burning Core onto this Baron now. There's not a whole lot that DFM can do to deter this one. They might drop a Mountain Drake for it, but that is far away a price willing to be paid. as looks good for DFM. You get the all-in onto Ray. But again, Gang has to pop the ultimate because Once is just right on top of him in his face, and Gang feels pressured that if he doesn't use the ultimate there, he won't have the opportunity. And once it's burned, Yu-Gi-Oh makes such a beautiful re-engage. And then Proud as well, flashing forward with this little Alistar insect onto the Callista that is just chef's kiss over to the side of Proud and Yu-Gi-Oh for a brilliant re-engage there, as they're going to put themselves up to Soul Point as well, grabbing up this Mountain Drake. Once is going for full lethality here, as he's looking for a Duskblade as well to round out his build. He is looking to find someone and make them hurt, as Proud's gonna just find Evi alone here. I believe he was seen by Ray in the bot side, and they just assumed he was still in the bush, but I do like that Proud just decided he was going to completely run him down, as they're gonna knock down this mid lane turret. No top lane turrets taken, but no top lane turrets needed to be taken, as they're going to try and split pressure between this mid and bot side here. While Burning Core have Baron empowered minions, they can really just wait in siege. Sero's going to be doing most of the lane clear for them right here. I don't know if that was a turret shot that was really worth taking for once there, but Yu-Gi-Oh's going to be the target here. This should just be a dead Yu-Gi-Oh, as he's going to use the taunt to try and buy himself some space. He has Heroic Entrance for a re-engage if it needs, as Once is going to be the target of aggression. Here comes the Heroic Entrance now, a two-man knock-up. So he's going to dash back away. Yuhi's looking to see if he can get onto Steel, but if you're Burning Core, not too upset about that one. You've knocked Steel fairly low. Seros as well. Just move back to the bot lane, grab up that turret that's relatively free, and you'll settle with around almost a 3k gold advantage by the end of this Baron. I lied. They're not going to be going for the bot lane turret as well. And you know what? I don't mind that play from Burning Core. Play safe. You have a Mountain Drake coming up in the next 3-ish minutes. Not a bad idea to just be paying attention to a Mountain Drake win con. It makes it that much harder for anyone to be finished off. And where DFM have the Taric ultimate, not quite as good, but still a decent cushion to fall back on if they end up acquiring that soul. It gives them so much healing, or so much shield to rely on, as they're gonna finally be pushing down the top side of things here. One's gonna steal away a couple of camps. Ray's gonna come in to just pop a parlay over onto that tiny Krug. But they should be able to knock down this turret, as the rest of Burning Core are wandering up here. Are DFM going to take an engage here? It's sort of a hard position for DFM, because even the position that they're in right now is, if they take an all-in and win, they net nothing. There's no real objectives up. So they have only incentive to be fighting because the pressure is on and they're backed against the wall. For Burning Core, though, they can take this game at their leisure, as Proud's going to find a little possibility on the steal. The arrow's going to find his mark. That's a lot of time spent CC'd, but only about half HP on him. Once is going to look for a bit of damage onto Udapon. Needs to be backing away from there, as Yu-Gi-Oh's going to throw up that W, saying, back away from my friendly jungler. I wouldn't appreciate that. So now Once is going to be on to the jungle here. DFM should be able to knock down this mid lane turret at last. Burning Core aren't even going to trade for the bot lane turret. They're going to make the call to just take a back. The benefit, of course, in this situation for DFM is that gives you a bit more breathing room when trying to set up vision around this Mountain Drake. And if you are DFM, while the soul itself is not do or die, what it means for Burning Core and the comp that DFM have will really kind of force it to be. DFM are now at the biggest gold differential that we've seen so far this game. 4K gold lead in the tank. If DFM are not going to find their fight win here, it's not exactly like Callista gets a whole lot stronger. For now, though, Burning Core have the inside track and vision control around the Drake. 20 seconds on its spawn timer. Ray's going to have a barrel combo over the wall here. Just trying to zone away with that as best he can, but they're going to wander forward to battle for these Pink Ward's HP bar. Immediately repinked by Steel. There's now the Pink Ward. There's been just a massacre of Pink Wards going on in this bush as Burning Core and DFM say, we want this bush. But now with the Drake up, Burning Core will be able to back up to that one. Once is going to be the one solo starting that one. He is in vision, but now DFM are making the call to go forward. The taunt is going to be onto Steel, but he already buffers that through with the R. Gang's going to pop the ultimate. The Drake is going to go the way of Burning Core. And as it stands right now, the fight is as well. Steel with nowhere to run. And DFM might have just found themselves routed as Saros is trying to run away. The stun kind of procced the wrong way, but Yutapon is kiting the wrong way with those auto attacks. The volley is going to slow him up enough. Saros trying to throw him a shield to help him out. Yu-Gi-Oh's going to get the Justice Punch on to Saros there, and the GA is not going to be enough to save Yutapon there. Burning Core may have just found their fight win. They're going to look at Baron here. They realistically could be looking for a game end, but Burning Core taking the safe route once again, and we'll watch this fight one more time. DFM feels so pressured, but this engage just does not work for them. Steel makes a call to go onto the Drake, and at that point, he's leaving most of his team behind. Yutapon can't get onto any valuable members because of Proud, and after the knockback is on, and sure, you are restarting your pursuit, Steel is already dead on one end of the map. There's no support you're going to be having from him. So the rest of Burning Core is going to knock him down in the end. At that point, there's no front line to fall behind. You've already lost your two beefy boys. And that's going to be Burning Core picking up another round of kills, setting themselves up with now almost a little over a 7K gold lead. And Mountain Soul just makes the job of DFM that much harder. And I do like that with the for Ashe you do have the Ninja Tabbies. It does help kind of just stack a little bit of armor, but ultimately in the comp that DFM drafted themselves into, you don't need a lot of resistance stats. That wasn't ever something that was going to be necessary, but Yuhi's going to be kiting away here. Burning Core is going to go for one final re-engage. Gang's ultimate already popped, but no one is even in danger of death as Yu-Gi-Oh's going to find the Justice Punch and the taunt onto Gang. Meanwhile, there's a Crocodile getting hunted by a Graze with a shotgun as this just looks like it's going to be the end. Once wants to pad his KDA a little bit. He's trying to find his way on to Yutapon there. Doing his best to be slippery, but his room to run away is dwindling fast. As Burning Core are going to find themselves 1-1 in the week. The last stand here for DFM is not one that can really be mounted as another game gets detonated and blown apart for them. And they just don't have any of the tools or time left to find a win in this one. Burning Core, as unmovable as the Mountain Soul they acquire, find themselves a win in this game. That's going to be them finishing this week 1-1, and DFM starting this week on a loss. Things are looking a little bit dire for DFM. They're going to really need to fix some of these issues if they want to keep their playoff chances alive. If Burning Core and Hawks Gaming are starting to be upping their game, DFM cannot afford to be slipping right now.
最後フォーカスミーとしてはもうここで
You can just see the desperation in DFM's eyes as they try to go for one last engage, just deftly dodged by the side of Burning Core. Going to be taking a brief break right away. Before we get into our next game, I'm going to try and stick it out for the next 4 games. I'm going to try to do all 8 today, so if you guys are tuning in for that, be sure to do so. Going to be taking, like I said, brief break in between games. Coming up next, we're going to have V3 Esports returning to the stage to take on Rascal Jester. Don't go anywhere if you're looking forward to that one. If you guys are enjoying the stream, feel free to drop a follow, as I do really appreciate it. I am slowly working my way up to that 50 follower count. We're getting close, and I would really appreciate all of the support that you guys have. That being said, thank you all for tuning in again. Gonna be taking a brief break, like I said. Don't go anywhere. More LJL action is on its way.
視界のない FM からすると営業選手が判断ミスしたんだなというような入り方だったんですが、実はプラウド選手にバックライン入らせるためのポジション取りだったと。あそこは本当に見事でしたね。
いや、営業選手スターティングメンバーに抜擢されて1年目ですからね、1シーズン目ですからね。
いやー、素晴らしい成長だと思いますね。
いや、見事なプレーでした。あれが本当に大きく影響して、そこからのワンス選手をはじめとしたスノーボールがうまく決まったという試合でした。それでは勝利したバーニングコアのプラウド選手へのヒーローインタビューがございます。下月さん、お願いいたします。
はい、こちらバーニングコアのプラウド選手にお越しいただきました。お疲れ様でした。本日勝利で終えましたが、いかがですか？
오늘 승리로 끝냈어요. 소감 어떠세요?
초반 너무 처참하게 져서 기분이 안 좋았는데 두 번째 이겨서 너무 좋습니다.
最初の試合でちょっとあまり良くない形で負けてしまったので、あまり気分良くなかったんですけれども、今の試合で勝てて気分良くなりました。
ありがとうございます。それでは勝さんお願いします。
はい、それではそのゲームの大きな転換点となったその23分のバロン前、レイ・ファーキー選手が先に倒されたにもかかわらず反転する判断をしたっていうのはどういうコミュニケーションでそれを行ったんでしょうか？
はい。경기가 약간 23분쯤이었어요. 그 레이파키가 그 바로 앞에서 레이파키가 죽었는데도 불구하고 반격에 나섰어요. 그때 커뮤니케이션 어떻게 취하셨나요?
어느 정도 저희는 예측을 하고 있었던 거고 레이파키가 죽었어도 저희는 그거에 굴하지 않고 오히려 레이파키를 죽여? 너네 가만 안 두겠어 이런 식으로 싸웠던 것 같아요.
ある程度予想はできていた状況だったんですね。なので、レイファーキーが倒されていっても、この状況でレイファーキーを倒してくるわけ許さないぞというような感じで、反撃に出ました。
なるほど。ちなみに営業選手のガリオ、そしてプラウド選手アリスタという順で仕掛けましたが、誰かが仕掛けるぞとかっていう発信っていうのは誰からっていうのはあったりしたんですかね？
그때 상황인데요. 에이비오 선수의 갈리오 그리고 그 아리스타라는 순서로 이렇게 반격에 나섰는데 누가 먼저 하겠다라는 그런 얘기는 있었나요?
누가 먼저 했다는 얘기는 없었고 되는 사람이 보이면 계속 하자라고 얘기는 했었던 것 같아요.
誰から行こうという話は特になかったんですけれども、とにかくできる人から、見えた人から、行こうという形にしていました。
なるほど、チーム全体で意思統一できていたということですね。そしてこの3週間置いてからそのバーニングコアの試合においてエウゲオ選手、そしてユイ選手、この2人のその新人のプレイヤーが非常に素晴らしいパフォーマンスを出している。ユイ選手に限ってはそのスタッツが悪かったところも非常に良くなっているという部分があると思うんですが、そのプロ選手として先輩のそのプラウド選手から見ていてその2人のパフォーマンスの向上っていうのはどうですか？
이번 3주 동안 좀 쉬는 기간이 있었잖아요. 그리고 나서 경기가 어제부터 있었는데 특히나 신인 선수의 에우게오 선수랑 유희 선수 이번에 훌륭한 퍼포먼스를 보여줬었어요. 특히나 유희 선수 같은 경우에는 조금 안 좋았다가 이제 점점 좋아지고 있는 모습을 보여지고 있는데 프로게이머의 선배로서 두 선수들의 퍼포먼스 어떻게 보고 계세요?
저로서는 뭐 대담하게 당연한 듯이 보고 있고요. 뭐 잘하고 있다고 생각하고 근데 이 친구들은 아직 선정판이 많이 열린 친구들이라 언젠간 둘 다 일본 최고의 원딜 리더가 되지 않을까 생각하고 있습니다.
네,